Hello again. Today I thought I would chat about a few things really. Lots of people have commented to me about the cardstock that I use. When you make clean and simple cards, there's often a lot of the actual cardstock visible, naked. So if you use a nice, subtle cardstock, it does basically subliminally add interest to the overall finished article. So the cardstock I've got here is a linen, a very, very fine linen textured cardstock. And I usually buy it from one of two different sources. This one is from a British company called Paper Mill Direct. And it's a really nice, very subtle linen feel. But it's only on one side. The other side is absolutely plain. I buy a very similar one, which I've just run out of, from a company called Cintigo, another British company. And that one is called Silk Weave Linen. And I really like that one, possibly even more than this one. And the joy of that one is they ship worldwide, and they also sell via Amazon, both in the UK and in the US. So people in the States can get that lovely linen, silk weave linen cardstock there. Okay, now today I just want to talk about a couple of things. One is when you are stamping on your cardstock, if you are going to do like I did here and cut out or die cut the image, it's really quite nice if you have a contrast of those finishes. So what I do is this. I stamp often an image on the reverse side of that cardstock, on the flat side, so that once mounted, I don't know if you can actually see this, once mounted, there is a contrast between the surround, the base layer, and the actual image, but they are exactly the same shade because it's from the same piece of card. I've got a bit of a thing about seeing odd shades of white put together. It kind of irritates me a little bit. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is show you the process. What I did for this one was use this stamp. So how do I get rid of these three little chicks here, you ask me? Okay, I'm going to show you what I do. I like to look at stamps and think, well, I don't want to use the whole thing. I'd like to use just this or just that or whatever. I mean, in the past, I've made this one into a dancing one by getting rid of the dumbbells, getting rid of this lady, and just had these three. I think I got rid of the towel as well, just by masking. So I'm going to show you what to do. So this is the young lady I want. This one here. This one reads, I like to keep in shape. And underneath it says, round is a shape, isn't it? Which rather goes with me, really. Anyway, this is what I do. There's my stamp. Here I have some just sticky tape. And I'm going to cover up the bits that I don't want stamped. There. That's the dumbbells. Now I've got to go past this young lady here. Oops-a-daisy. Make sure you can see her. I often get carried away and forget that people can't see what on earth I'm doing. It's a bit long. I'll just cut a bit of that off. I can use that somewhere else. Just covering up, oops-a-daisy, the bits I don't want ink on. I think there's a tiny bit there I can see that I don't want, just right there. Okay, here we go. That should do. Now, because I'm going to be colouring with alcohol markers, I'm going to use an ink which doesn't smear when alcohol comes into contact with them. This one is a hybrid ink and it doesn't smear with alcohol markers. If you use something like Stays On, Versafine, when you come to colour it, that black line, if you touch it with your pen, will smear. So this one doesn't do that, so that's what I'm going to use. Here we go. Right, inking up this young lady on the end, the one who's doing a big jump. Okay. There's the ink. Now, if you undo them from the end that you started from, should bring all of it with you. Oh, went the wrong way. There we go. Throw that away. Take this one off. Put that way I can't smudge anything. Look at my fingers. Are we okay? Right. This is an offcut from a small square card I made. So I'm going to stamp this image on the flat side, the back side. And I think I'll do it this way. Try and get her in the middle. Good old press. There we go. And there she is. Now, looks to me like a tiny little bit of her hand there is missing. So we don't worry about that, do we? No, we get a fine line. This is the one. Just put it in. I think the rest is okay. This one is a Letraset 0.1 fine line drawing pen. Recap after use. I will. I have. 'Tis done. So that's just sorted that one out because I was a little bit, I think I'm in a, yes, I must have just covered it with a little bit of tape there, but it's fine now. So I'm going to colour her in. One thing with clean and simple cards is limiting the colour palette. You could do all sorts of colours, but I don't know, somehow it distracts the eye. 2 or 3 colours is often quite enough. So this is a Pro Marker Cool Grey 1, and I'm just going to put a little bit of shading in the bits where there would be a shadow, under her arm, sides of her feathers on her hand, under her arm, around under the beak. And I think that's, oh, I'm going to put a bit down the side of her, this beak here, because I've only got one shade of this Copic marker, golden yellow Y17. I haven't got a dark one. I tried a dark one this morning and it was a bit dried up. So I've put a bit of grey underneath just to give a bit of shadow to that side of the beak. I'll do that now. So let's colour in the whole of the beak. But the left-hand side has just got a subtle shadow. I'm going to do her legs the same shade, just keeping that continuity of colour. Leg here, the leg there. Okay, now for the comb, if that's what you call it, I've got a couple of shades of red. This is a very deep one, R59 Copic, R59, and I'm just going to put a bit of this on the underside of some of these doodads, whatever you call them. Left-hand side of, I'm assuming that the light is coming in from the right. I tend to do that all the time. I don't know why I do really, but anyway, there we go. So now we'll just fill in the rest. And that darker colour just gives me a bit of definition, a little bit of shading. There we go. Okay. Now, not wanting to put too much in the way of different colours on there, I'm going to put the band, the hairband, as a slightly deeper grey. This is a cool grey 2 Pro marker. Just put a bit that side, and leave a little bit of a highlight in the middle. Going to do the same down the left-hand side of the handles of the skipping rope. And that, I think, is enough. Okay, now, to put this on here, because the theme of this is round, I wanted to cut it out with a round die. This one is a dot, well, these two are dot and dash dies from Press Cut, one of a whole series. I started off using this one. And although it fits the image of the chicken very well, in fact, better than this one, once I put that against this size card, that looked too big. So I reduced the size by using the next size down. So it's personal taste, really. I could have used a different size card base, but I just liked to do this one. To do the sentiment, I used Word 2013, I think it is. I have done a video about using the computer to make sentiments, and the principle I used was exactly the same for this card. So I drew a box, bottom right-hand corner of a sheet of A4 on my computer, the size of the front of this card, so that I would know what proportions I was working in. Put text boxes in to put these in, and I had this cut out and I held it in front of the screen just to see if the size was okay. But, you know, do look at that other video if you're wanting to know a bit more about using a computer to make sentiments for your cards. So that basically is it. Colouring using the wrong side of a piece of linen cardstock and reducing a stamp to use just the bit that you want. So a few things to think about, and I hope you've found something of interest anyway, and thank you very much as ever for watching.